in the yesterday's class we were then seeing some important case laws on the white collar crimes, and then we have gone through with the state of Gujarat versus Mohanlal, Jita Malji, Porwal and others. Then we have gone through with the Muhammad Gaisuddin versus state of Andhra Pradesh. Okay, and then now we will be seeing the next important case law which talks about the question of imposing death penalty on the white collar offender. This was considered by the Supreme Court in the Rajendra Prasad versus state of Uttar Pradesh. It is held that if the courts were to be guided by the classification for inflicting death penalty only in case of three categories of criminals, namely for the white collar offenses, for antisocial offenses, and for exterminating a person who is a menace to the society, that is a hardened murderer. The death sentence for an offense of murder punishable under section 302 for all practical purposes would be virtually non-existent. Unfortunately, our penal laws do not provide for death sentence for either white collar crimes or antisocial offenses. As regards the hardened murderer, there are few to be found. Many murderer, unfortunately go undetected, and many a brutal murderer has to be acquitted for want to legal evidence bringing his guilt beyond reasonable doubt. Nevertheless, when the guilt is proved, the court should leave aside all humanitarian consideration if the extreme penalty is called for. A professional murderer must, as a matter of course, be sentenced to death because he is menace to the society. Whatever sympathy the court can have should be reserved for the victims of the crime rather than for the perpetrators. In such cases, the law must take its course. So again, in the Mohanlal versus state of Rajasthan and others, it is held that white collar crimes, and there again economic crimes shocking and rocking the entire society ever increasing either in the form of black marketing or food adulteration or smuggling, have assumed disastrous dimensions, providing manifold litigation. The snail moving, halting and faltering speed with which the administration and prosecution both act rather in act is not only shocking but is challenging the very utility of the laws which are fast breaking and cracking on account of this lethargy, indifference and red tapeism. Whether this tantamount to moral abatement or acquiescence is a question to be answered by lawmakers and not law interpreters. If not, the decision would be of futurity, that is posterity alone, and not courts of law. So the same trend was followed in the ITO versus Gopal Dhamani, wherein it was observed that in serious economic and anti-social white crimes, the rule should be jail and not bail. Again in the Patelar versus state of Rajasthan, it is held that making the supply of fertilizer scarce and selling it at higher rates than prescribed, that is the black marketing, is bound to have a disastrous impact on the state's effort to stabilize the country's economy. Smugglers, hoarders, and black marketers have no country, caste, or nation of their own. Their only god and concern is the yellow metal gold. The offense for which the accused petitioner has been convicted is of the species of economic crime which need to be curbed effectively. The ineffectiveness of prosecution is arresting the wave of white collar crime must disturb the judge's conscience. The court is not a computer which registers what is fed into in it and answers by mechanical intelligence, but a human being to get at the truth and public good. An antisocial adventurers cannot claim for his nefarious and injurious uh, activities any greater legal regard than for the defense of the society itself. Okay, so if you see that the court did not consider there will be a fit case in which benefit of section 4 of the probation of offenders act may be extended to the accused petitioner. Okay, similarly in the GBS Omkar versus Sri Venkateshwara University, it is held that white collar crime must be dealt with much more severe than crimes of passion. The same trend was also seen in the state versus Bharat Chandra Roll. It is held that bribery and graft by public officer is one of the important crimes which have been characterized as white collar crimes. The rise of such crime in many countries have coincided with the progress made in that particular country. Similarly, in the state of Gujarat versus Mohanlal Jitamalji Power and other Honorable Supreme Court observed, that the entire community is aggrieved if the economic offenders who ruin the economy of the state are not brought to book. A murder, a murder may be committed in the heat of moment upon passion being aroused. An economic offense is committed with cool calculation and deliberate design with an eye on personal profit regardless of the consequence to the community. A disregard for the interest of the community can be manifested only at the cost of forfeiting the trust and faith of the community in the system to administer justice in an even-handed manner without fear of criticism from the quarters which view white-collar crimes with a permissive eye, unmindful of the damage done to the national economy and national interest. In the Champak Bai Amir Bai, Wasawa versus State of Gujarat, it was held by the court that if the employee of the bank would commit such serious offense, then the customer, will not have faith, and their amount is not safe in the bank, and therefore it should be, very rigorously dealt under the provisions, and the bail should not be given to the accused person. Similarly, in the Lalit Gohel versus Commissioner of Central Excise, the court says that bail application in a case of Custom Act observed that the economic offences constitute a class apart and need to be visited with a different approach in the matter of bail. Noticing ever growing, materialistic outlook setting unculparious element on a prowl to maximize material gain by unlawful means, this court even suggested appropriate legislative measures. So in the Prem Kumar Parmar versus State, court observed that offenses such as cheating and forgery, bring imbalance in the economy of the country and has effect on the majority of the people, basically the economically weaker sections. Okay, so when we go, again move to the next particular point, that is the in the Supreme Court in the Prashant Kumar versus, Manchar Lal Bhagat Ram Bhatia has held economic offenses are increasing all the time and smugglers disrupt the economy of the nation and erode the valuable foreign exchange. It is necessary to facilitate the investigation into economic offences, and the remand courts should not ignore this aspect while considering the question of liberty of a suspect. It should be borne in the mind that the common good of the society should be properly balanced against the individual liberty. And then the state of Maharashtra versus Ketan Parekh, while considering the question of bail in white collar crimes, whether custody of accused is required for the purpose of investigation, and if he is released on bail, whether he is likely to abscond are relevant consideration. Questions whether the transaction in question was purely a civil transaction and whether any criminal liability arises against the accused is not to be decided at the stage of bail application. Similarly, in the Sunil Kumar versus State of Haryana, Justice Chauhan, says that criminals do not hesitate in approaching the courts even by abusing the process of court and sometimes succeed also. So, here, courts should be strictly following the, procedure prescribed by law. And if there is any kind of doubt is there, then the weightage should be
सर
given.
प्रार्थना को ऐड करो.
So the weightage should be given to the, you know, procedure which is strictly required to be followed. Similarly, in the N. Shashikala versus Enforcement Directorate, the charge under the section 9 of the FERA for an offense making unauthorized payment to a foreign supplier, considering the gravity and magnitude of the complexity of the accused, stage of investigation required to be conducted in India and abroad, and the possibility the existing situation would be unsettled if accused was released on the bail. which might cause obstacle for further investigation. Therefore, Madras High Court declined to grant the bail. Similarly, in the Jayanti Dharma Teja versus State, the accused was involved in an offense under section 409, 467, 420, 477A and 120B of the IPC for the alleged embezzlement of sum of amount about 2 crore rupees in foreign exchange out of the funds belonging to a corporate body of which the accused had been the chairman. Rejecting the bail application, it was held by the Delhi High Court that there was a well-founded reason apprehension about the accused, escaping from India and becoming fugitive from justice if he were released on the bail. Okay, so this is how the whole things is been covered under the various legislations by Supreme Court while handling these particular aspects of white crimes, criminal and the particular things. Now we will be moving towards the next part, that is the how the various different professional uh, you know are doing certain kind of crimes which also qualifies for the white collar crime. So let us understand what would be the type of deviance will be there. So there can be a professional deviance, there can be official deviance, there can be a police deviance. So let us understand, under the professional deviance, every profession has code of conduct, conditions, rules and ethics. If any act violates such rules, etc., it is called as professional deviance. And profession includes, so what are the professions which would be more or less qualified for the deviation? That is the legal, that we are lawyers, medical professionals, journalism, journalist, education, industry and educationalist, engineer and architecture, etc., who are giving professional and professional services to the society at large. They will fall under the professional deviance. Okay, so now let us understand what is the causes of the professional deviance. Most of the time majority of the people in India are poor, illiterate and backward, hence they easily get exploited by the professionals. Some professionals tend to have support from politicians as well. In return, they finance the politicians during the election. So the client satisfaction by hook or crook is the motto of this particular professional deviances. Accumulation of the wealth by illegal means to meet for future uncertain needs of their children or themselves. These are the major causes of the professional deviances are there. So now this is the particular a picture from the, what is the picture of this particular scene is representing? Can someone tell me? How many people have seen this picture?
Jolly LLB.
Only LLB.
And are you people able to understand what is this scene and the argument that is shown?
कौन है ये लोग, कहाँ से आ जाता है, वो वाला है क्या?
See the judges' reaction and the way it has been, showcases in this particular, shot, and then you will be able to find out that how. See, basically, this picture is trying to tell that in the litigation, how there is a nexus, and up to any extent it can be there can be a deviation of a lawyer from their basic expected outcome and behavior, and the arguments are concerned here. So I think this one slide is enough to show how the lawyers are deviating themselves from their obligations in the law professions. Okay, so let us understand how the lawyers are deviating from their things. So basically here when we talk about the lawyer, which particular code should be there for our discussion? Can someone tell me? Law profession is being controlled by which particular piece of legislation?
Bar Council.
No.
Advocates Act.
Correct.
Advocates Act.
Yes, it is the Advocates Act. And then you have gone through, have you gone through with the Advocates Act? Guys,
Yes, sir.
so how many chapters are there?
So देखना पड़ेगा. लेकिन
Such a fellows, huh? Being a lawyer,
Sir-
you doesn't know.
sir, sir,
तो मुझे
actually,
बताओ. हाँ, बताओ.
for past some time I have not worn the gown, so I'm more
Arey
concerned with the
Baba,
other
you
side.
are not worn the gown, but you are seeing the people who are, wearing the gown and then coming and representing cases before you.
But sir, that would ultimately be a prerogative of the bar, right?
That is the problem.
Judiciary
See,
will not
that is
ideally
what
interfere.
yeah, very good. Thank you so much for bringing this particular point. Otherwise, it would have been taken me some time to bring it to your notice that how this particular problem and the thinking that, the bar and the bench thinks that it is not my issue, it is the issue of the bar. But my simple question is that when you are representing individually under your
not as an
capacity,
issue, sir.
are you
Okay.
getting my point? See how the problem starts here. Who constitute the bar? Tell me. Who constitute
Advocates,
the,
enrolled advocates.
only they constitute the bar?
Yes, sir.
Only they constitute bar. So it means that you are not at all going to take certain kind of responsibility which has been casted on the judiciary side also. Don't you think that they are
Sir,
also
sir, नहीं,
part
bar
and
पूछा
parcel
ना
of bar? See, I will tell you.
Sir, actually ऐसा है. जी sir, please.
बोलो बोलो बोलो.
नहीं sir, कोई बात नहीं.
अरे बोलो भाई, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, ये तो हमारा क्लास है, इसमें तो हम जो चाहे बोल सकते हैं.
अभी एक सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जजमेंट था जिसमें ऐसा बोला गया है कि द बार इज मदर ऑफ द बेंच. 3 जज बेंच सर अभी जो डायरेक्ट रिक्रूटमेंट वाला सर जजमेंट था, बट स्टिल देयर इज सम डिस्टिंक्शन.
What is that?
सर बट क्योंकि रोल सर दोनों के अलग हो जाते हैं ना, सो बार के मैटर्स में जुडिशरी डज नॉट आइडियली इंटरफेयर.
ओके, चलो ठीक है. अब मुझे एक बात ये बताओ, how the synchronization is take place and that particular interrelations are there, which are the most essential factor. Tell me, can judges act in isolation?
नहीं सर, बिल्कुल
Can advocate acts in isolation?
not at all.
Suppose there is a big tussle in between these two groups, then do you think that there is an ideal bar?
नहीं सर, आइडियली नो.
So question comes here is that if one of the organ of the bar is not cooperating, if it is not going through the ethics, morality and professionalism, automatically the duty has been shifted on whom? Other organ. Yes or no? If we consider, bar is having 2 organs, what is the name of these 2 organs? Can someone tell me? Hello.
Yes sir.
Who are the 2 organs of the bar? जसपाल, प्रार्थना, महक, यश, कुछ बोलोगे कि नहीं बोलोगे? कि बस मुझे बोलना है? सर आप बोलते रहो, जो बोलोगे हम हाँ करेंगे, बस क्लियर कर दो आप हमें. ये है क्या? मंथन, अरे भाई बोलोगे कि नहीं बोलोगे कुछ? Who are the 2 organs of the bar? Already hint is been given. Basically it is the advocates who is the one organ and another is the judiciary who is the another organ. Okay, and especially when we refer this particular Advocates Act.
सर बार और बेंच होता है, लेकिन हाउ कैन वी जज विल बी द ऑर्गन ऑफ लाइक, वो तो सब दिमाग में था, लेकिन वो बार और बेंच से अलग हो जाते हैं ना. हाउ कैन यू से दैट कि बार का ही जुडिशरी ऑर्गन है?
that is for the outside representation. Yes or no? That is the outside representation. Am I right? I am making a statement. Jaspal, are you with us?
Yes, sir.
So the whatever statement I am making, is it correct or not? This differentiation is for the outside world. Yes or no? This is what my statement. आज क्या हो गया, आप लोग कुछ भी डिस्कशन नहीं कर रहे हो? कुछ बम फूट गया क्या? मैंने एकदम आप लोगों को डिस्कशन के लिए बुला लिया था.
सर कंफ्यूजन ही उसी चीज का है. लाइक वी नो दैट बार एंड बेंच आर डिफरेंट ऑर्गन ऑफ जुडिशियल, मतलब लीगल प्रोफेशन. मतलब पर आप बोल रहे हो बार का दो डिफरेंट ऑर्गन में आप जुडिशियरी को ले रहे हो, वो नहीं.
अच्छा चलो, मैं तुम लोगों को एक सिंपल क्वेश्चन पूछता हूँ. Whether judges are advocate at the first instance or not?
यस सर.
नहीं sir, not required.
अच्छा तो फिर बताओ, फिर डायरेक्ट जज
Not all the cadre of judges required to be enrolled. Even
that is what I am asking. So now
direct recruitment है sir, LLB के बाद.
direct recruitment takes place from where?
Sir, after once having passed the college, मतलब some states have this
What
rule, sir.
degree is required for that?
LLB.
And when you are required to pass the LLB, automatically you must get yourself enrolled as an advocate or not?
नहीं, not essential sir.
Not
जो
essential.
enroll नहीं करते उनको lawyer कहते हैं.
Okay.
And those who get enrolled उनको advocates कहते हैं.
बराबर. And the moment when you clears the exams, then you've been declared as what?
सिर्फ वो बार काउंसिल की एग्जाम क्लियर करके और बार के रोल पे एक बार
I know that I am coming from the judiciary point of view.
जी सर.
So once you pass the exam of the judiciary, you have been declared as a judicial
Judge.
officer.
Judicial officer.
Correct.
Yes sir.
So now, when there is a judicial officer who is there, he is been expected to know what are all those things, and he is going to deal what are all things. Can someone tell me?
Sorry sir.
Once there is a judicial officer, what are all he is expected to know and adhere, and what are all things he generally face in his tenure? He must be knowing all the laws, including the Advocate Acts. Yes or no?
Yes sir. Yes sir.
Which is binding? Which is binding?
हाँ sir, बिल्कुल.
Is it binding on the judges also or not?
No sir, it is not.
It is not. So
Advocates Act has no binding over judges.
okay.
We are governed by
Your
civil
judicial
services rules.
Civil services rule. Civil
Yes, sir.
services. Civil services rule does give attention to the Advocate Act 1961. Yes or no?
सर वो देखना पड़ेगा. I am not sure.
वही मैं तुम्हें इंटरनली उठा के मैं अंदर से इंटरनल लेके जा रहा हूँ. Because I will give one simple example. On what basis, if judge feels that the advocate behavior is not good, or it is kind of creating nuisance to the fabric of the bar,
हाँ.
उसके लिए जज किसके ऊपर रिलाई हो जाता है फिर?
Contempt of court है.
Contempt of court takes place based on what? What is the basic foundation?
Any act which, sir, जैसे
that is been demarcated under which piece of legislation? Is it a civil service regulations along followed by the Advocates Acts or combination of all?
समझा नहीं सर क्वेश्चन.
अगर कंटेम्प्ट ऑफ कोर्ट लेना चाहता है कोर्ट,
जी सर, जी सर,
तो उसके लिए बेसिस क्या होता है?
सर द कंडक्ट ऑफ एन एडवोकेट.
So which particular piece of legislation talks about the conduct of the advocate?
Advocates Act.
Again and again, if suppose in between the judges themselves, or if bar want to take some action against the judge, they will be relying on which particular piece of legislation?
Sir, the bar cannot. Only the higher judiciary can take action against
But
the
at
judiciary.
least they are having grievances, so they want to report it to the higher judicial
They
authority.
can do that. They can do that.
Under which authority?
Sir, High Court के rules है sir.
Barabar. And in
हाँ.
that there is a due weightage is also given what is expected to be done by the judicial officers. The way
Yes,
it
sir.
has been, the way it has been expected under the Advocate Act, some kind of reliance is also there on the Advocate Act.
नहीं सर, मतलब बात ऐसी हो गई
Hmm.
कि everybody in the profession as well as मतलब जैसे certain rules of probity and propriety are expected from judges as well as the advocates, लेकिन जरूरी नहीं है कि ये दो चीज दोनों पे अप्लाई होती है, इसका मतलब कि एक्ट भी मतलब सेम ही होगी.
See, that is what I am trying to tell.
जैसे लेमैन कॉमन मैन या लिटिगेंट के ऊपर भी सर ऐसा तो ये तो होता ही है कि बेसिक बिहेवियर तो उसको भी मतलब
that is what I am telling, that when you take the particular interpretation to find out the nexus in between, two different dimensions. One dimension is the behavior of the advocate and the bar towards the judiciary, and judiciary's behavior towards the bar and the advocates. This is a delicate, fabric. Yes or no? And this delicate fabric, if sometime it is going to be tarnished by someone, whether it is a judge or whether it is an advocate, to settle down this particular issue, we have to look holistically from all the various pieces of legislation, which includes your High Court's rules, regulations, civil service regulations, as well as the Advocates Acts as well. Yes
Right,
or
sir.
no?
Right.
In that context, when we give it in a very larger context,
हाँ, holistically देखने जाए तो सर सब कुछ जरूरी है.
That is what I am telling, that because end of the day, though judge is not coming from the certain kind of procedural aspect, but still he is a vital organ of the complete bar and bench. Yes or no?
हाँ सर, bar and bench का बिल्कुल है.
Are you getting my point? And we says that holistically, most of the time, I will tell you that if you see the sometime this judicial magistrate first class direct examination is concerned, and then direct appointment is concerned, it's having its own balance. Yes or no? And most of the time, then you have seen that more regards and more authoritative directions as a guidance has been taken by the judicial magistrate first class, who comes directly from the recruitment point of view. Yes or no?
Right, sir.
I will give one simple example. A fresher who has just cleared, and now in the process in the course of judicial magistrate first class, he is always been directed, and he is always looking forward for those senior judges who are directly coming from the bench into bar, from bar to the bench. Yes or no? And that's why most of the time we have seen that there are so many things which are as a learning part for the fresh judicial officers.
Certainly,
yes or no? So
Definitely.
Now when you cannot done away this part, because I will tell you, these senior judicial officers who are coming from bench, who are coming from bar to the bench, they have contributed tremendously in maintaining the smooth relationship. Yes or no?
बिल्कुल sir. Example being Justice Nariman.
Not only Nariman, you take all the
one
judges,
of the examples.
you take, I will give one simple glaring example. Since I am from Maharashtra, so I am having that authority, I can say so. So take all the judges of the Bombay High Court, and those are been elevated to the Supreme Court.
Right.
See how many are coming from bar.
Most majority, sir, even in Gujarat.
And see their statement, the way if this kind of problem comes before them, they will highly rely on their as an advocate experience and not as a judge experience. And whenever there is a requirement of a judge experience to be involved as a synchronization with the advocate experience, at that particular time, they will find out the finest balance. Yes or no?
Possibly, sir.
Not possibly. I will give you, more than 10 to 15, incidents where it has been categorically mentioned.
नहीं बिल्कुल सर मतलब आई एम जस्ट सेइंग कि मुझे सर पढ़ना पड़ेगा आई माइट बी लैकिंग समवेयर आई एम नॉट क्वेश्चनिंग दैट
Because I have seen so many instances when I'm interacting with the lower judiciary, when I had interaction with the higher judiciary, when I have had an opportunity to interact with the apex judicial officers. And most of the time I have seen that they will always say that see, though judges are having certain kind of dignity and certain kind of different rule, but they cannot avoid the very basic fabric of the advocate acts and the way advocates are required to be regulated and respected, because without that the smooth functioning of the bar and bench will not be happening there.
That is true, sir.
Are you getting my point? And
That is
and sometimes they have even given certain kind of tight slap to their own officers internally, not directly in the public or in the sitting court proceedings, but whenever there is an opportunity informally, as administrative directions or as administrative inquiries or as internal meetings, when it takes place, they always insist to the freshers and the people who are not interested to pay their attention towards the basic professionalism, which is also voluntarily required to be maintained by the judicial officers, though they are not advocates, for the sake of argument. Am I right or wrong?
जी sir.
So this is how the things goes. So now we'll stop here, and in the next class we will continue over these things. Okay, because our 50% syllabus is already over and remaining 50% is remained there. Everyone please switch on your video. I'm going to take your attendance. Okay, see you in the next class. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.